Hi guys, welcome to the channel. This is going to be a quick video on what this channel is about really. So obviously going to review books and these will vary according to my tastes. But I do read quite widely, obviously with a bit of a focus on topics I'm interested in. But I do tend to select books outside of my kind of usual topics of choice, let's call it. So, why choose this channel to watch book reviews? Well, I think my ethos is that I really want to reduce the kind of faff in the intros, for example. So, it won't be 10 minutes of talking and fluff before you actually get to the point of the video of the actual book review. Nobody wants to watch that. But it does really help me to like and subscribe. So sometimes I'll probably talk about that at the end of the video after the book review. I plan to upload regularly. I read a lot, so there's definitely going to be enough material to talk about. And what I want to do is obviously there might be a bit of gravitating towards what actually people like to watch. But I'm never going to review stuff just for the sake of reviewing. It's not going to be. I'm not going to be reviewing loads of the Twilight Saga. It's just not the kind of book I'd read. So there'll obviously be a focus on the things I like, but I will take into account what people are enjoying. My, I guess probably the most key part of my ethos is to give a unique, balanced take on books. So I suppose if it does conform to what the general consensus of a book is, obviously I'm not going to deviate from that. But the aim is to be as honest as possible in my book reviews and give justification. So you're always going to know why I didn't like a book. You might not agree with me always, but you'll have that substantiation of why I rated it the way I rated it. And in terms of ratings, I do like to give like a book a rating out of 10. And I think 10 out of 10, it doesn't mean it has no flaws, but it's a huge contribution to the genre of whatever it's trying to achieve. And it's probably almost as good as it can get and is a really standout book. That's my kind of criteria for a 10 out of 10. Obviously it'll probably have very few flaws, but it doesn't mean perfection is a ideal. It's not actually attainable. So 10 out of 10, that's what that means. And obviously like 5 out of 10 would be kind of average. It probably doesn't really contribute much to the genre. It doesn't add much that's or anything that's new. But yeah, that's my kind of logic on the ratings. And I could do a more detailed breakdown, but the challenge with ratings on books, I think, is that it's going to vary a bit from genre to genre. So one review I've got is Sophocles, the Theban plays. And obviously the writing from 2000, just under 2,500 years ago is going to be a bit different to today. So how you rate these books and pieces like that, there's going to be some variation. In terms of like gimmicks, I think like book haul videos, they can be interesting because they might introduce you to books you wouldn't normally read. But what I do sometimes see is book haul videos where you can kind of tell the reviewer hasn't actually read the books. I think that's just against the ethos of what a book reviewer should be doing. I think you have to have read the book because that's the whole point. So I won't be doing that. If I do a book haul video, I don't know if I will or not. It'll be because I've read the books and I have an opinion to give on them. So what kind of books will I review? There's going to be a big focus, I think, around ancient history. So it's really an interesting topic for me. Ancient Greece and Rome and Sparta. I've just read extensively on those periods. Science fiction and fantasy is kind of where I started in reading when I was very young. So they'll definitely crop up probably quite a lot, but especially focused around Warhammer 40,000. I've been into that almost all my life, so there'll be a lot of book reviews on those. A kind of common topic is philosophy and psychology for me, and philosophy will link often into the ancient Greek philosophers because of my interest there. But it'll also be outside of it, more modern philosophy, obviously like the philosophy kind of classics. But these tastes will change, and I will do the literature classics from time to time. It's not the kind of genre that I will read every week, but I'll probably drop one in now and again because I quite like to do that, just to kind of read something outside of my usual lane. And relatively recently, I've been reading a lot of like politics and societal kind of books. So those are ones that are probably going to crop up less often, but they'll be in there. And like I said, I think there's a kind of degree of uncertainty with this because sometimes I will just pick a book that's kind of random for a change. And I think some of the other videos that I'll do will be, you know, things to do with the wider industry. So it might be like the kind of choice between physical copies of books and ebooks. I think a lot of kind of YouTubers have done stuff like that, but I think it's quite useful to talk about that debate as time goes on because the options change. There's kind of interesting alternatives as well, like Scribd is one of them. They kind of have a subscription service, for example. I don't think people always know the options, so I might do videos on those kind of topics. And I'll do a separate video similar to this where I'm kind of rambling. Hopefully my reviews are a bit more effectively structured, about the key parts that I think about when I'm reviewing a book. And obviously this still has the kind of criteria that it will depend on the genre. There'll be different focuses, obviously, depending on the genre. Like a fantasy book, obviously the imagery is going to matter a lot, whereas a non-fiction book is obviously not going to matter so much. So I'll do a video talking about that, and that'll be another rambly one like this was. So, yeah, classic YouTuber end. Thanks for listening. Please like and subscribe because it really helps. And comment what you'd like and dislike to see, and if there's anything about reviewing that kind of you disagree with or agree with, like what have other reviewers done that you really like, because that feedback will help my videos and I can integrate that if I think it's worth noting. So thanks for listening.